So you seriously think you've seen it all on the internet? I am here to say that you have not. Welcome back to another video. I have gone down the darkest conspiracy rabbit hole there is yet when it comes to celebrity secrets, and I have brought them here for us to watch today.
Did Erica Kirk work with Jeffrey Epstein? Let's get into it. Yesterday, Candace Owens announced that in 2015, Erica Kirk was seen taking multiple meetings at Next Model Management in New York, a modeling agency founded by Faith Cates, who had to step down in December due to her extensive ties with Jeffrey Epstein. This agency was known to procure a lot of girls from Eastern Europe, perhaps Romania, because in 2015, Erica Kirk was still working very closely with Romanian Angels Orphanage there. They housed young children and teenagers up to age 18. There was even an article written in a local Romanian newspaper in 2015, a positive article documenting gifts from Erica Kirk to the organization. And what's interesting is one of Epstein's closest associates, Jean-Luc Brunel, held a 25% stake in Next Model Management. And his job was leveraging European scouting background to help build the agency's international pipeline. He was known for scouting pageant girls to his modeling pipeline. In 2022, he was in jail awaiting trial on charges for trafficking girls for Epstein. And in this Guardian article, one of the victims says that he lured her into his bedroom on the pretext of showing her photos of a Miss Universe contestant whose career he had developed. It makes you wonder if he was connected with Miss Arizona. I wish we could ask him, but in 2022, he was found dead in his cell from committing suicide. With only 1 degree of separation from Jeffrey Epstein, you have to wonder what this pageant girl was really doing taking meetings at Next Model Management. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
Enough said, knowing that some of Epstein's friends had ties, suspicious, but also suspicious how Erica is an industry plant. She is way too popular for her to be who she is. I get it, but come on, especially knowing that Epstein's name is somehow involved and there's ties connected between them two. What do we not know? Who really is she?
Someone called a cult doing a demonic ritual in a field. There's no way they got this on camera. And this girl in the middle of the circle is floating. How is that possible? Dark magic, y'all. Stay weird.
Sometimes people think if a library is open late and it's completely quiet, it means everyone is studying. That's the mistake. If you're in a library close to closing time and you notice every table empty, but you hear a chair slowly slide across the floor, do not go looking for it. Stop where you are. Most people assume another student just moved. But libraries carry sound strangely. If the chair moved 2 aisles away, yet no echo sounds right behind you, don't turn around yet. First, check the shelves. If a book falls somewhere nearby, but you never heard footsteps before it dropped, do not walk towards the aisle to put it back. Most people do. That's how they end up deeper in the stacks. Second, pay attention to the lights. If the lights in the aisle ahead of you turn off one in a row at a time, do not step in the darkest section. Stay where the lights still work. People who ignored this said the same thing later. The darkness didn't spread randomly. It moved aisle by aisle towards wherever they were standing. Third, leave the building. Do not stop at checkout desk. Do not return the book you're holding. If the chair slides again right before you reach the exit, but the room still is empty, don't check the aisles to see who moved it. Just walk outside. Because when a library is silent, but furniture starts moving on its own, it usually means someone else is still there, and they're trying to figure out which aisle you're in.
We have just witnessed the largest delegation ever of US lawmakers visiting Israel, and I almost guarantee you have not heard about it. 250 state legislators representing all 50 states arrived in Israel on Monday, and they attended an event at the Foreign Ministry titled 50 States, One Israel. On Tuesday, the lawmakers then took part in a ceremony where they planted 50 trees, one for each state, at one of the locations of the October 7th attacks. Netanyahu's office described it as the largest ever bipartisan delegation of American lawmakers to ever visit the Jewish state. Israel's Foreign Minister, Gideon Sa'ar, urged the lawmakers in attendance to pass anti-BDS laws in their states. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction, and it is a movement started in 2005 by Palestinian activists. Anti-BDS laws are designed to make it difficult or discourage boycotts of Israel, and to date, 38 US states have adopted these laws, resolutions, or executive orders. Gideon Sa'ar said, "We are witnessing a coordinated global effort against Israel today, claiming that their enemies have turned to propaganda, political, legal, and economic warfare." He then said to the crowd of US lawmakers, the best answer against BDS until this day has been anti-BDS legislation by your states. But the timing of this trip couldn't be more controversial, not only because the day after they arrived, the United Nations Commission of Inquiry officially ruled for the first time that Israel are committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, but also because on the exact same day, Israel's highly condemned ground invasion into Gaza City officially began. And the reason I said I almost guarantee you haven't heard about this is because, to my genuine surprise, literally no major media publication is covering this apart from local news in Israel. And I mean, regardless of where you stand, is the largest delegation of US lawmakers to ever visit Israel not news?
Well, if I go down the creek and I see something like this standing there, I'm getting the fuck out. I'm going. A woman went to the creek with her family. She went to her usual swimming hole. But while she was there, she noticed a woman just standing in the creek. Now, she said this woman was very pale, almost gray, and she was in some type of dark robes, which was crazy because she said it was almost 100 degrees outside. She said they swam in their swimming hole for a while. The woman did not move, did not look at them, nothing. When finally she decided to start yelling at her, going, hey, hey. And she didn't bat an eyelash. She didn't move. Now, obviously, this could simply be somebody just standing there for a few hours, completely still and not reacting to people yelling at her. But what sense would that make? The craziest part about this whole story, though, is she said she gathered her kids, told them to come on, packed up their stuff, looked over again right before they left, and the woman was gone. She said it took no more than 2 minutes of her not looking at this person for them to completely disappear. What do you think's going on here? Let me know. And as always, don't forget to like and follow for more creepy content. Good night.
Well, again, standing randomly in the middle of the water for hours on end straight, that's perfectly fine. I do that myself. I don't know about you guys, but that's perfectly normal. What are we talking about? Why are you yelling at a person in a black robe knowing it's over 100 degrees? That's all you need to just either call the cops or not be there. Why are you voluntarily standing still, exposing your entire, where your location is, knowing that there's a random person wearing a robe in 100-degree weather not reacting to noise? That's not a human being. That's a shapeshifter.
I don't know if you heard the huge news, but the cash that D.B. Cooper jumped out of the airplane with and got lost was just found, and it's in the official suitcase that he had, briefcase that he had on the plane. And so this is the guy that found it, and he is washing the money off to verify the serial numbers. But now there's a big legal battle as if the finder can be the keepers or if the money goes back to the governmenters. But they did pick up some fingerprints right on those bills, and so hopefully we're one step closer to finding them.
These teenagers ended up setting this homeless lady on fire. They never thought they would have got caught until camera footage came out of them actually setting her on fire. Her name was Charo, which was her nickname. Yeah. She was a homeless lady in Barcelona at the time, and her life went through a lot of ups and downs. At this point in her life, she was sleeping in like this ATM. Sometimes ATMs would be like in a little room kind of thing. Yeah. She would sleep in one of those at night. On this night, it was December 15th of 2005. These kids kept coming and messing with her when they seen that she was sleeping inside there. No. Throughout the night, these kids kept coming back. There was like 3 boys that would keep coming back and messing with her. At one point, she tried to block the door so they wouldn't be able to go in there. One of the boys ended up banging on the windows while she was sleeping on the other side of the door. One of his friends went around and opened the door open while she was distracted, and they ended up pouring like some type of like gasoline fluid all over her and inside the ATM. And one of the kids was smoking a cigarette, flicked a cigarette into the ATM, completely set her on fire.
And they like held it closed?
Yeah, so she wouldn't be able to get out. And so these boys end up running off, and they think like everything's all good, but they didn't know that these ATMs have cameras inside there.
Oh my god.
So there's crystal clear footage
of them doing it to her.
Of these boys setting her on fire, like pouring stuff all over her and throwing the cigarette at her and setting her on fire. After all this footage comes out, because people in the community knew her and they was cool with her. When the police caught them, they were saying like, well, we didn't know that the cigarette was gonna do that to her. But then they seen all the footage like, you came with a whole fucking canteen
of oil, bro, like of gasoline. You're fucking crazy, dude. Yeah.
You think Slurpees are just flavored ice? Just a sweet frozen drink from the machine? Yeah, that's what they want you to think. Every Slurpee starts with carbonated water. Then they pump in massive amounts of liquid sugar syrup. So sweet, the whole drink basically becomes frozen candy. But sugar isn't the only thing in there, and they also add preservatives like sodium benzoate, a chemical that keeps drinks sitting on shelves for months. To keep the slush texture from separating, they mix in stabilizers like gum arabic, so the syrup and chemicals stay perfectly blended. And that bright color you see? That's not fruit. It's artificial dyes like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1. You don't care though, right? They also add chemicals like calcium disodium, EDTA, and erythorbic acid. And these machines run all day, all night, constantly freezing and refreezing syrup, cup after cup after cup. So the next time you grab a Slurpee, remember what's actually inside that cup and why they call it a brain freeze.
Is this what celebrities have to do to stay famous?
Would you rather option one, become an industry plant celebrity of the profession of your choice? You can choose to become a singer, actor, influencer, you name it, and you will get at least $10 million a year. You will be quite busy though, and you won't get much rest, but you will amass millions of fans who constantly express their adoration towards you. You also get access to the very best medical. Your physical condition will be pristine, but in order for you to receive any of these benefits, you have to join the Secret Order of the Seventh Night, who is that is solely responsible for giving you all of these benefits. This group only requires that you meet with them 3 times a year to participate in their rituals deep in the woods. In these rituals, you'll be blindfolded, and you will perform ritualistic sacrifices while reciting this unknown language. You assume that you're sacrificing goats or lambs, but it's hard to tell because you are forced to inhale this strange gas beforehand, which makes your memory go a little fuzzy. But you can't help but notice that every time you leave one of these rituals, you feel like a piece of you is missing, and in its place is something more sinister, something that makes you feel more hollow. And if you ever plan on leaving this group or get any funny idea about exposing the secret to your fame, they will replace you with a near identical replica to carry out the remainder of your days so they can still make a profit off of you. And you will be locked away, forever living the remainder of your days in confinement, knowing your replica is out there hugging your children and kissing your spouse. But if you want to keep this beautiful life that they've so generously given you, just do what you're told and keep your mouth shut. Or would you rather option 2, never be stuck in traffic again?
This photo was taken at a concert celebrating Dia de los Muertos. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The person in the photo said that a musician actually did a prayer to bring in spirits to come celebrate with them. They said he was bringing the spirits in to help people spiritually and emotionally, to heal their minds. And in one of the group photos they took, they actually captured a spirit in the photo, standing behind them smiling. Here's the spirit in question if you still don't see it. It has black around its eyes, black lips, gray skin. It either has long hair or a veil on it. Also looks like it has some sort of headdress on. While the people who took the photo believe that the spirit is not malevolent, so many people will tell you that it's not a good thing to summon spirits because you don't know what kind of spirit you're summoning. They can get attached to you, so on and so forth. But I do have to say, I don't get a negative vibe from this spirit. It does look and feel like it's just there to enjoy its time at this party. What do you guys?
He said, oh, you know, Carmelita Salinas, she was so Catholic, but she was over there ordering and buying to perform her satanic rituals. Have you ever heard of the actor Carmen Salinas?
Yes, bro. Who the doesn't know Carmen Salinas?
For those of you who don't know who that is, it's a very, very famous Mexican actress who she was very known for being like kind of like a saint in a way.
I was about to say, I feel like she's like my grandma.
But as of recently, there was this podcast, right? Penitencia MX. And in this one episode, it was episode 177. Her name was brought up in the episode. It was on some satanic. So this guy, his name is Beto, he was able to convince other lure them in and get them kidnapped. So that was his purpose and that was his job, and he was getting a lot of money. He was saying how they were paying him really, really good, and how eventually, since he was doing a really good job, he started working for certain people. He started saying how like all the artists, all the actresses that you know, all of them do this.
Do what?
He said, oh, you know, Carmelita Salinas, she was so Catholic, but she was over there ordering kids and buying perform her satanic rituals. And now I'm going to show you the interview, which is now, by the way, deleted or censored from the original episode.
Empecé a convivir con mucha gente del medio, ¿no? Te lo vuelvo a repetir. Carmelita Salinas, con todas esas personas yo las conozco, sé cómo viven. Bueno, la Carmelita Salinas decía que era católica, ¿no? Y te compraba los si iba a hacer su sacrificio, ¿no? Desde el 90 y tantos ya era gay y no sabía, ¿no? Y cosas así. Hey, todos esos personajes yo trabajé para ellos. Esa fue mi vida.
And the thing is too is the fact that people are saying that what does he gain from lying? He's serving 80 years right now. What the is he gonna gain from lying?
Was this a that was mentioned or
no? Other people were mentioned, but her name was the only one that wasn't censored.
Oh, so it was like a error.
It was either an error or they purposely did that. First of all, he goes into depth about a lot of stuff that he was doing, bro.
Like what though?
That he was kidnapping these, not just for like, it was for mainly satanic rituals. How he goes to these poor areas, he lures them in. Obviously, they don't have nowhere to go. He was once one of those kids. That's how.
Did you hear about the giant cave that was just discovered in the jungles of Tennessee and nobody's known that it's ever been there? But what's crazy, in the bottom, there's a village amongst the trees. There is like some indigenators, adobe huts, or however you want to call them. And there's a lot of artifactage and a lot of gold objects. We did find some plates down there that look like it's recordage, like there's writing on it. We can't tell exactly what type of writing it is, but we're excited to get a translator and figure it out. I'm going down there tomorrow. We do need a few helping hands, and so if you are in the area and you are willing, let me know, but stay tuned for part 2.
It's not World War III, but it is a war that's now affecting the whole world. By just 2 countries launching an attack less than 2 weeks ago, today at least 20 different countries are now involved in some military capacity, meaning it may be the closest we've been to a world war in decades. According to Axios, it's now drawn in more countries, more great powers, and more overlapping conflicts than any crisis since the Cold War. So here are the main 3 ways that this war will touch almost the entire planet. Yes, even you, Africa. Firstly, allied countries have become targets. See, because the US military have bases in many countries around Iran, they were the first to be dragged in and started receiving a huge barrage of missile and drone attacks, a number of which made impact. And on top of the casualties, damages, and millions forked out in defense missiles, for many, like the UAE's Dubai, it's caused major cracks in their safe holiday destination image that they've worked so hard to create. Secondly, the US and Israel didn't inform allied countries they were about to attack, which left governments around the world scrambling to evacuate their citizens and make quick rush decisions on their own involvement. For many, that caused major political backlash at home, especially since UK bases were attacked and NATO defense systems had to get involved. And the third and most wide-reaching consequence of all, prices.
Oil prices are now up 70%. It's going to be the largest monthly move of all time, and it's only the 9th of March.
Of all time as in all time, all time?
All time.
Now, we've already heard how important the Strait of Hormuz is and how the 97% drop in ship traffic is going to hit our pockets real soon. But few are talking about how not all countries will feel this crisis the same. Take Sudan, for example, who are already facing the worst humanitarian crisis on Earth. Well, they import a staggering 54% of their fertilizer from the Gulf region. Remember, this is a country that already has 21 million people facing acute hunger. That's around 40% of their entire population. And it's not just Sudan, because when oil prices go up, so too does the price of food. And you know, for some, that means the weekly shop gets more expensive. But for others, that means they starve. So yeah, this war may be physically regional, but the consequences are global, and it only gets worse the longer it drags.
Have you seen this clippage of this huge hair clump that was blocking a drainage pipe in front of a person's house in Madison, Wisconsin? So Dave Portsinger has 10 daughters and 1 wife. They have 3 sets of twins amongst their daughters, which is just incredible. And he says the drains always get clogged, but he uses Drano. He sometimes tries to snakeages it with that plumbing thing because he knows some tricks and tips on plumbing. But he said as of the past year, it's just he hasn't been able to unclog it. And so he finally saved up, hired a plumber, and they found this huge hair clump. They think it's about 20 years worth of hair between these 11 women and girls. The good news is they are donating it to Locks of Love, and Locks of Love think they'll be able to make over 227,000 wigs out of it, which is just kind of a miracle if you think about it. They say they're going to have to shampoo it, so they're looking for someone to donate shampoo. But now if you have a family member that gets cancer over the next year, you're not going to have to worry about them getting a wig because they have surplus of wigs now.
Quick pause. If you're still watching, thank you. It means a lot. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe because we're just getting started.
We got breaking news. A Ukrainian tourist was kidnapped in Bali, tortured on video, and now police says his dismembered body has been found on the beach. So here's what happened. 28-year-old Ihor Komarov was vacationing on the Indonesia island of Bali when he was suddenly abducted in the resort town of Jimbaran. Police say he was riding a motorbike with a friend when a group of men forced him into a car and drove away, leaving the friend behind. Then things got even darker. A few days later, videos started circulating online showing Komarov badly injured with bruises and banged up hand, begging for his life, while kidnappers demanded a 10 million ransom, but the ransom was never paid. On February 27, locals discovered human body parts washed up along a beach in the riverbank nearby. DNA tests later confirmed the remains were Komarov. Investigators now believe he was tortured before being killed, though the exact circumstances are still under investigation. Police are still trying to figure out and track down the attackers. A vacation paradise turning into a brutal international murder investigation, and the biggest question right now is who kidnapped him and why. Follow for more updates, and if you want to support me, check out links in my bio.
This photo is honestly terrifying. What do you see in this photo that should not be there or should not have been captured by the person who took the photo? I'll move. I don't think she was really meant to be in this photo. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but like she's not from this realm. This photo was captured at a soul dance event in Atlanta, Georgia. They were celebrating El Día de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. The event was led by a powerful musician named Porangi, and he did a beautiful prayer and called on the spirits. After he called upon the spirits, the group took this photo, and that's when she appeared. I mean, in case you wanted a closer look. The person that originally posted this photo says that the air or like the energy felt thick and she could feel the presence of something behind her. So after she took the photo and she went to look, like she honestly wasn't surprised. For whatever reason, just looking at this makes my face feel really hot and it gives me a headache. I 100% believe that this is an authentic photo, especially when it was captured after this musician called upon the spirits. Like they listened. If you call upon them, they will come. But like always, what do you guys think?
Scientists just discovered a completely unidentified form of life, and this is like nothing ever seen before. Over 400 million years ago, Earth was a very different place. Now, reportedly back here, the tallest things on Earth were these gigantic pillars, which were kind of just like trees, but for the last 200 years, yes, 200 years, scientists have been going back and forth, arguing amongst themselves between what actually were these things. Was it an original type of tree, a fungus, or something like that? Well, no. Scientists recently took a perfectly preserved fossil from all this time ago. Using infrared light, other technologies, and our best friend, AI, they managed to get a result of what this actually was. So what the AI did was basically run it against anything on Earth, like literally everything, and it didn't match anything, meaning this has never been seen before on Earth and does not exist anymore. So the researchers came out recently and they said this: it belongs to an entirely extinct and extremely rare branch of species. Now, just deep that a second. This isn't talking about a kind of species of tree or animal or something like that. It said branch, and no, I'm not talking about the branch on a tree. Branch means branch of life form, as in this is a completely different life form we have never seen before. I'm sure a lot more is going to come out, but what the hell?
This is obviously about to sound fake right now, but China just turned on a machine that creates 1900 times Earth's gravity underground. Did you even know that that existed? So these researchers in China just finished building something that shouldn't be possible. 50 feet underground, they installed a brand new $285 million machine that's called Chief 1900. This is a hypergravity centrifuge that generates forces 1900 times stronger than Earth's gravity, and for context, your washing machine does too. It works like a giant spinning arm with a radius of about 20 feet. They load multi-ton scale models into it and they spin them at speed so intense that the machine had to be buried underground just to stop the vibrations from destroying everything around it. They had to build a custom vacuum cooling system because this thing generates so much heat that it would melt its own components. Now this is the crazy part and why it actually matters, because they can put a 10-foot model of a 1,000-foot dam on this machine and spin it. And whenever they spin it, they're able to watch decades of structural damage happen in just hours. Earthquakes, landslides, nuclear waste storage, they're compressing centuries of geological stress into days, and scientists are calling it a machine that compresses space and time. Okay. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. NASA is still trying to figure out how to get a rocket off the launch.
I decided to ask Rock why there's a freaking pyramid and an all-seeing eye on our dollar bill, and it deadass told me that it's about patriotism. You know, even though it's in Egypt, it's about patriotism. Right on. Anyways, this is my driver, and we are ruled by Satanists. Literally, occultists. Yeah. Anyways.
This might be one of the only hauntings where police say they witnessed it themselves. In 1977, a single mother named Peggy Hodgson was living in Enfield, England with her 4 children. One night, 2 of her daughters heard a strange knocking sound coming from the walls inside of their bedroom. At first, Peggy thought that the girls were just trying to scare each other, but that's when the noises started getting even louder. And then furniture began moving by itself. Terrified Peggy ended up calling the police. And when an officer arrived, something happened which would make this case famous around the world. The officer later reported seeing a chair move several feet across the floor by itself, and no one touching it. Soon after, the house became a center of massive investigation. Witnesses claimed to see toys flying across the room, furniture flipping over, and one of the daughters, Janet, being lifted off of the bed. 2 paranormal investigators spent months documenting what they believed was a real paranormal activity. However, not everybody was convinced of this. Some people actually believed that the girls were the reason that this was all going on, and that they may have even staged some of it. Others insisted there was way too many witnesses for this to be fake. Even journalists and photographers said they saw things that they just couldn't explain. Nearly 50 years later, and the Enfield poltergeist case is still one of the most famous hauntings ever recorded. But I'm curious, what do you think? Was this a real haunting, or one of the most convincing hoaxes ever pulled off?
Donald Trump just endorsed Jake Paul to run for a political office. We are beyond the point of being cooked, guys. So during an event, Donald had Jake come up on stage and say a couple of words. And after Jake's speech, Donald decided to tell Jake that if he ever runs for any office in any kind of politics, that Jake has Donald's full endorsement and support. Now, since this happened, a lot of Jake's fans are not happy with him at all for associating with Donald. But let's just hope that Jake never decides to run for office, because at this point he actually has a chance of winning.
The Epstein files just took a horrific turn against Donald Trump. Yesterday, these 3 brothers, Orrin Allen and Tal Alexander, were convicted of sex trafficking in Manhattan. You might remember this in the Epstein files. It alleges that these same 3 brothers, Orrin Allen and Tal, had raped a 14-year-old girl at an Epstein party. But that same allegation also says Donald Trump was at these big orgy parties, and that Trump Golf Course was part of a sex trafficking ring. So this allegation seems extremely credible now, and
He reached down a little girl's shirt and groped her while she was sleeping. 34-year-old Javed Enemdar took a seat next to a 12-year-old girl on a plane. While this girl was asleep, she felt something warm in her shirt and instantly woke up. Javed had his hand inside this poor 12-year-old girl's shirt and was groping her chest. She screamed at him to get off of her multiple times, but he would not stop no matter what. The girl finally got up and alerted a flight attendant about what was going on. The flight attendant informed the captain to make an emergency stop. During the emergency stop, police questioned Javed, and he said that he was half asleep and he must have thought that the little girl was his wife. He also said that he would never touch a little girl because he has a 7-year-old daughter of his own. Javed was sentenced to 21 months in prison. What's crazy to me is that witnesses on the plane said that they saw that Javed wasn't half asleep while he was touching the girl. He was fully awake. My question is, if they saw it happen, why didn't they do anything? It honestly disgusts me. But what do you guys think about this case?
Why are more people not talking about Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend Karina Shuliak, who he planned to leave $50 million in cash, the Little St. James Island, Great St. James, Mexico, the New Mexico Zorro Ranch, Manhattan townhouse, his Paris apartment, and a near 33-carat diamond ring? A lot of this money has been given to victims for compensation, but it's clear to me Karina worked in the same capacity as Ghislaine Maxwell, scheduling and recruiting for Jeffrey Epstein. There's one email sent from Karina to Jeffrey, and it says, menu from the pizza place. When you click on the link, you're sent to this website that says, Mamma Mia, this has gotten too spicy. Contact our head chef, Samalo Hyde, for any special orders. And he's holding a grape soda, which we all know has come up alongside cheese pizza and beef jerky hundreds of times in these documents. Can't do anything through this website. I even tried to enter in an email, and they never send you an email for confirmation. In this email chain, Karina says, are you feeling okay? Would you like me to come to Dr. McNani? Which he responds, sweetheart, I've had a tough 2 days. I would appreciate it if you're going to come over and cry about something. Wait until you feel better. Maybe you need a nap. I love you. She says, I love you too. Sorry about me crying, and thank you, Jeffrey. It all went well, I think, but it's all because of you. How is your tooth? There's this email from Jeffrey where, again, he just seems like the worst boyfriend ever, obviously. Spying skills help. Thanks. I love you. Your concern over women is unnecessary. It's causing much of the stress between us. The first day we became together, I told you, please. There are always women around. If they will make you jealous or anxious, it will be a problem. How could you do that with Katya? Why is Redacted rubbing your feet? Why is there a masseuse? Who used the vibers? Why is Redacted topless? Why were you holding hands in the movie with Redacted? Why were you caressing Redacted? Photo holding Oriental girl. Why are you hugging her? Why are you looking at the girl's ass as it passed by? That was mean, question mark, question mark. Why don't you trust me? You trust Sue? Spent 2 days apologizing for losing a deal which I had worked on for months and returning their money. You are more important to me than any deal, so I don't mind in the end. You're the best person I've ever met, ever. We spend days hugging and I still ...
It does not seem like their relationship was the healthiest. After all those emails back and forth between them two, Epstein didn't seem like a cool guy to be with. But regardless, why did he leave so much behind for her? What do we not know that she had ties with? What more did she do in the background that we do not yet know?
Homie was lighting the bomb in front of the cops. That is crazy. This is wild. Thank God nobody was hurt. But this is what you got to look out for, man. This is going to happen all around the States, unfortunately, man. We saw it on a plane that had to be, brought down and had to take the guy off. Kansas City airport, same nonsense, bro. We're going to keep seeing this, and the unfortunate thing is that the border wasn't protected. And so there's so many videos of people saying, you don't know who I am. And then the people look up who he is. And he was some guy that was, some sort of terrorist organization. So just keep your head on a swivel, guys. You got to pay attention because these things are going to come to a major city near you.
ICE is now going international. The AP just reported that US immigration agents are going to have a security role at this year's Winter Olympics in Italy. But not for the reasons you might think, because no, they're not going to be arresting migrants and deporting them from Italy. Rather, according to insiders who spoke with the AP, they will fulfill a security role for a US delegation, including JD Vance and Marco Rubio, who will be attending the opening ceremony in Milan next month. And so, for reasons still unclear, ICE were the ones chosen to fulfill that security role. I mean, maybe they just couldn't resist the pun. But this is going to be tense because Milan's mayor is actually very opposed to the idea, saying in a radio interview, this is a militia that kills, a militia that enters into the homes of people. They are not welcome.
This game show led to the most insane murder. In Peru, millions of people were tuning into this game show called El Valor de la Verdad. Contestants would sit in a red chair, be connected to a lie detector, and answer deeply personal questions in front of their friends and family to get cash prizes. As long as you told what the show wanted to be the truth, you were going to win big. Celebrities and everyday people would come forward and do this show and answer really humiliating questions or talk about deep trauma in hopes of winning a lot of money. The most disturbing situation was actually the show's very first contestant named Ruth. She came from poverty, so this prize money could really change her life. So she was answering everything the way that she thought the show wanted her to say it. She was saying things like she was embarrassed of her parents, that she wishes she was white. She confessed that she was only staying with her boyfriend until someone better came along. And most important to our story, she revealed that she was a stripper and she had sold her body to men before. This episode went super viral. I mean, this is tea for sure. And they ended up making this the episode that they would play over and over. Like, she was a sensation overnight. Also, hi, I'm Grace. Can I be your horror girly? She then disappeared for 10 days. Nobody could get a hold of her. And then the police found her body in a shallow grave. It became clear that she had been asphyxiated. So the truth of the matter was, once the show aired, her boyfriend was humiliated. He broke up with her. He was super angry over all of these things coming out. And we know this because he later confessed to all of this. He wanted some of her winnings. He believed that he deserved a cut of it. So what he did is he assaulted her and then he ended her. And he thought nobody would ever discover this if he buried the body. He was sentenced to life in prison. And I think nobody deserves this. I think this is absolutely heartbreaking. Despite this insane, horrifying, super sad story, the show continued to run for years.
I just found out that chicken nuggets don't actually exist. Chicken nuggets are actually just rotisserie chickens that they do a bunch of stuff to in factories. Like, they'll mush them up and get them into a paste, and then they'll turn the paste into chicken nugget little things, and then they'll put breading on them, and then we'll buy them and we'll eat them, and there's nothing more.
Can you imagine buying a beach house
with no beach access? Well, that's exactly what happened to this couple who bought this beach house. Literally, gorgeous views. They can see the ocean. Gorgeous views. They're right on the beach. But they're not. They're on top of the mountain. So they had a great idea. Let's build a spiral staircase straight down, and we can literally get on the beach. And they even built a beach hut on the beach itself. So people are saying, this is a great idea. Yeah, this looks awesome. Now they can access the beach even though they bought it, no beach access. Well, the problem is when you try to go up, I mean, you're talking about a football field long, literally to get up all those stairs. So yes, you can enjoy the beach going down, and what a great idea. But going back up those stairs is crazy. Imagine like just walking straight up that. It's absolutely wild. What do you think of that? If you own that house, would you do the same thing?
News is getting very hard to trust. ABC News just put out a wild headline saying that the FBI warned that Iran was going to attack California with drones in retaliation for sparking this war. Now, many people are saying, how the heck would Iran even bomb California? How would they get drones there? And this is what they said. They recently acquired information that as early as February, so they didn't even let us know, they're telling us now, I wonder why. In February, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unnamed aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States. And they tell us 2 days ago that Iran could be activating sleeper cells and everyone needs to be careful. And all of these encrypted messages they're intercepting and everything is unidentified and unspecified. We're not hearing or seeing anything. We're just being told a couple sentences that's freaking everyone out. In my opinion, it feels like they're just releasing these because most Americans aren't happy with what we're doing in Iran. But if you release this type of headline, people are going to get scared and emotional, and they're going to start, maybe in their hopes, agreeing that we should keep bombing Iran. Again, who knows? At the end of the day, it is a war, but this...
You have this in your car, the government can take it over at any moment.
Don't forget that the CIA can take over your car's steering at any moment.
Yep.
Yeah, look at Vault 7. These are released CIA documents. If you own an Audi, a BMW, a Jeep, a Ford, or a Honda, your car operates on the QNX system.
Yep.
So be careful what you say in your car. Literally. Anyways, this is my hybrid. And, yeah. Luckily, I don't own one of those. But, it does make you think. How many people have died in weird car accidents, right?
The race to find these is on. Someone just did it. A 2026 half dollar was found in the wild. There's a picture. These new half dollars everyone's looking for, with a face value of only 50 cents. These are now averaging between $5 and $10 each. This one had 10 bids and sold for $9 a couple days ago. Do the math, everyone. Each one is worth 50 cents and they're averaging 5 to 10. People are going so crazy for these because this is the first design change in so long. Every half dollar since 1964 has been this exact design, John F. Kennedy. But for 2026, the Mint is releasing these special coins for the 250th anniversary. And again, 1 year only. And look, it says explore the circulating coins right here. This is the dime. There's the nickel. Here's the half dollar I was just talking about. There will be 5 different quarter designs coming out. This one's Gettysburg, a Constitution quarter, a Declaration of Independence quarter, a Revolutionary War quarter, and the Mayflower Compact quarter. Keep your eyes out for all of these because they are starting to hit.
The game people say relate to Jeffrey Epstein and the rich elites, whole thing of being taken. Do you remember this game, BioShock?
Okay, yeah, I have seen that.
The whole game, it's about the rich elites, really rich Americans specifically.
Okay.
They live in an underwater world.
Yeah.
Almost like the island, water. All of the monsters they fight are little
You're lying.
What ties it all together to Epstein is wild because there's a machine in the game that reveals fortunes. And it's called Epstein the Swami. And look what it looks like.
In the game.
I'm not even...
Oh, hell.
You know what I'm saying, though? You pretty much talk to it, and it will give you, like, quotes. And these are some of the quotes it says.
Oh, my.
Darling, just close your eyes and hope it's over quickly.
No.
That-
Darling, just close your eyes and hope it's over quickly. Believe
me when I tell you. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes.
Look at the bright side. Maybe it'll be quick and painless.
No, bro.
Have you picked a plot picked out yet? That means like, have you picked a spot to
Yeah,
like a plot?
Even crazier, what if those are actually emails?
It could be like some of the conversations.
That's what I'm saying.
We should put those quotes into
In
the files,
the
and
files.
look. And look.
Yeah.
You can see your past life in a mirror.
Wait,
there's a
deadass?
ritual. You can go look into a mirror. You're supposed to draw like a certain symbol.
Okay.
And people said they've done this before. Like this is
Word.
going viral in like Asia.
Really?
I don't know how real this is or if it's just like folklore, but you draw a certain symbol and you're supposed to bring it into a reflection. It could either be like a lake, it could be just a clear water, pond, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a mirror and you bring it to the mirror. I think you're supposed to say a few words.
Okay.
And then by the time you say the last phrase,
Yeah.
who you see in the mirror is supposed to be who you were in your past life.
Really?
Like you see the face of the person in your past life.
Damn.
I think China has that well.
Oh, yeah. And people were crying.
People are crying.
Yeah.
So that's very similar. It almost opens a portal because people say like reflections open portals. So if you put two mirrors together, it becomes an infinite loop and it opens the portals for spirits or whatever energies come. There's this mom that had a diary and she wrote every single day what happened that day.
Yeah.
In one of the passages that she wrote, hey, today is blah, 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 blah. Today feels weird because it feels like I'm remembering someone's birthday, but I don't remember who. But I know it's somebody's birthday today. And it feels like I know someone's birthday today. Now check this out. This is where it gets so scary. So she wrote that in her diary on February 28th. Now, she found this diary again, like when she's way, way, way older. And she wrote this long, long time ago. That date ended up becoming the day she gave birth to her daughter.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so she remembered her daughter's birthday way before she had a daughter.
That's called something. Phonetic?
Prophetic.
Oh, Kim Jong-un has got some serious FOMO right now. 22 countries have now got militarily involved in the Middle East. But somehow, North Korea is not one of them. So, just to make sure that the world doesn't forget, he has bombs too. Yesterday, Kimmy, along with his daughter, personally oversaw the test of the strategic cruise missiles which they fired from their new 5,000-ton naval destroyer warship. And after they successfully struck some random islands off North Korea's west coast, their state media described it as a massive success. Bro even went on to do a photo op with his daughter and test out a bunch of the military's guns. Just a classic bring your daughter to work day. Now look, Kim, I don't know how we tell you this, but we've moved on to other supreme leaders now. I mean, it's not you. You're still hella scary and all of that. They just got the Strait of Hormuz, and it's massive. I hope you can understand.
Sometimes people think if a train platform looks empty at night, it just means you missed the last train. That's the mistake. If you're standing alone on a subway platform and you hear another set of footsteps echo behind you, do not turn around immediately. Stop walking and listen first, because underground platforms carry sound strangely. First, check the timing. If you stop walking and the footsteps behind you take one more step before stopping too, do not look back yet. Most people turn around right then. That's how distance get measured. Second, watch the tracks. If there's no train coming, but you hear gravel shifting down in the tunnel, do not move closer to the edge of the platform. Stay near the wall. People who stop closest said the same thing later. The sound didn't come from the tunnel. It came from the tracks directly below them. Third, leave the platform. Do not wait for the next train. Do not sit on the benches. If the lights flicker once and the footsteps behind you start again, but slower this time, do not turn around to see who it is. Just walk towards the exit stairs, because when the platform is empty but footsteps keep matching yours, there's a reason you never saw anyone arrive. Some things don't come down the stairs. They climb up from the tracks.
Found his plane. Did you see that? Plane? Epstein's abandoned plane.
Where?
It's in like an airplane graveyard. What the? One of the things they found in the plane, similar to Diddy.
Oil?
No, not even oil.
Oh, what the?
Baby powder.
Baby powder?
Hella baby powder though, like a lot of baby powder. And then there's like a satellite phone. What people are calling for is the FBI or investigators to do like a DNA test there.
Okay.
Because they haven't. It's literally just in a graveyard site
Yeah,
for a
because
plane.
imagine how much DNA is in that plane. What have they been doing in that plane?
Exactly, right?
But the Diddy stuff, did they put something in the oil? Did
Yeah,
they make, oh,
put I think it's called.
That
And
kind
then
of-
that's like that makes you in like slow.
Then probably, yeah, you can mix anything in powder, fam.
There's so many puzzle pieces that you just kind of have to build the picture together. So
Oh.
baby powder, okay, boom. These
Yeah.
guys want to live forever. They eat.
Yeah.
Boom. They want to live forever and look young. They look like vampires. Why are they so pale?
Vampires.
This kid doesn't know his energy is affecting his environment. Watch this. This kid's pretty much the real life avatar that Last Airbender is.
Baby, what you wishing for?
We're powerful beings, y'all. They don't want us to know that. Stay weird.
Clones have apparently been taking over Hollywood for years. Jim Carrey isn't the only celebrity that's been circled by conspiracy theorists. Before him, I was getting constant videos about Selena Gomez being replaced. People clock her different appearance and voice, which others say is due to her battle with lupus. There's also videos like this one where people think it looks like she's wearing a mask. One theory says the real Selena passed away during a transplant operation in 2017, and the person we think is Selena is a genetically engineered replica. Avril Lavigne also has a similar theory that's been circulating since as early as 2005. It claims that Avril was struggling with fame and began using a body double named Melissa. At some point, the real Avril is said to have died, so the record company replaced her with Melissa full-time. People say they dress differently and have slightly different appearances. Britney Spears was allegedly replaced by a clone. Following her 2007 breakdown and conservatorship, fans noticed subtle changes in appearance, such as facial structure, different teeth, and inconsistent tattoos. They also use this to explain her strange behavior on social media. Paul McCartney has been accused of being a clone since 1969. Following the release of the Beatles' Abbey Road, fans were convinced that John Lennon was saying, "I buried Paul" in Strawberry Fields Forever. They claimed that he was killed in a car accident and replaced with a lookalike. Theorists believe that Taylor Swift is the clone of a former satanic priestess named Zena LaVey. Zena was the daughter of the founder of the Church of Satan. There's not much proof other than people saying that's how she got so famous, and that the two look similar, which I kind of see it. So literally, this has been happening for decades. Let me know in the comments if you think there's any truth to it.
Why does this Beatles album cover have dismembered baby dolls, raw meat, and them wearing butcher smock?
We thought these ankle blasters were a good idea until they literally like hit your ankle. You would lift it up and then it would swerve, hit your ankle, and your ankle would just be done. You were done. We always thought that we'd be like really good at this game, but we weren't. This part went around your like ankle/foot, and then you would swing it around and jump over it, kind of like a jump rope, but not like a jump rope for your feet. Yeah, I don't know anyone who was good at this. We all had this little trampoline. You would think you could do some like flips on it, but you just couldn't. It was just too little. The bounce wasn't there. You always got excited when you saw this until you used it. You would get skin burn to the max. Do you guys remember these blow pens? You'd stick one of the ends in your mouth and blow into it, and then the ink would come out. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. I'm sure someone sucked in and then got some ink in their mouth, but who knows? The best game that ever came out, I still have my Game Boy, was the Game Boy. Game Boy, still. Super Mario Land. That's what I would play.